Library. For those of you who are not familiar to me, I think I have met many of you, but for those of you who have not, Erin Pierce, Director of C.C. Miller Library. We are, over the course of the next several weeks, we are holding candidate events for each of the municipalities that we serve. It is our hope to be able to bring the local election process to the folks that are voting for each and every one of you. The way we have set this process up is that we were trying to think about it in ways that would be easiest for the residents. So in each session, we have folks who are running for offices that are for that municipality, right? So in this evening session, we are going to have candidates for mayor, for Churchill Council, and candidates for the Woodland Hills School District who are eligible to be voted for by Churchill residents. We're going to start the meeting by having each candidate is going to have a 5-minute piece of time that they can do a candidate statement or, talk about their beliefs, their hopes, their dreams. And then we are going to follow that by questions from the audience. We did put out a call for questions in advance of this event this evening and got none specifically from Churchill. So whether we will have questions or not is going to be dependent entirely upon whether anybody decides to submit them via the chat function this evening. We are monitoring the chat both on on our Zoom channel and on our Facebook channel in case any questions come across. And I think that should be it. I don't know. Does anybody have any questions before we jump in and get started?
Thanks so much for hosting this.
Yeah, of course. I think it's so important that people get the chance to have a face for a name and an idea about who's coming up for local elections.
Mhm.
So anyway, Paul, would you like to start this evening?
Sure, it'd be my honor to start off. My name is Paul Gamrat. I've been a resident of Churchill Borough going on 40 plus years now. I've been
Paul, I think you muted yourself accidentally.
Sorry about that. Thanks, Matt. I'll start all over again. Paul Gamrat, Churchill resident. I've been living in the borough 40 plus years now. A little background on myself as to who's Paul Gamrat. I'm a retired public school teacher, spending 35 years of my career down in Wilkinsburg School District teaching special education. Not that that qualifies me to be mayor of Churchill, but it gives me an opportunity to have been working with people all my career on a close relationship. I've been mayor. I was appointed 9 years ago through a vacancy when one of the previous mayor retired for personal reasons. So since that time, let me get rid of this okay thing. Since that time, I've served as mayor. What people don't know really about the mayor's position is what does the mayor actually do? I'm in charge of the police department. That's my number one priority. So, in being that, I work closely with the chief of our borough. He keeps me informed of what's going on in the borough, things that need to be looked at. For example, when hiring comes up, the new police officers, which we just hired. He is responsible for maintaining our fleet of cars. So he has a program where he keeps, every 5 years we replace one of the cars. And that might sound like a lot, but you figure cars are running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So to put a lot of mileage, 1,000 miles on your car is probably like 10,000 miles on a police car. So they wear out pretty fast. We changing tires a lot and maintaining that. So aside from just what I do with the police department, what I do as mayor is I am on probably most, I think, I should say not most. I attend the committee meetings, whether it's infrastructure, communication, finance committee meetings. I try to attend most of those meetings. They're in there every month. They're usually around an hour. So what's nice is they are on Zoom, so it's kind of easy for me to attend. Although we've been getting back more and more to the personal meetings. So that in itself helps me get a hold of what's going on in the borough. Rather than just reading some notes where the minutes to some meeting, I was actually there at the meeting. I can ask questions, which I do. Matt can tell you that when something comes up, I don't just sit there and listen. something comes across my mind, I speak my mind. And all because these are things that residents will ask me, because back to what the mayor does, everyone thinks the mayor does everything in the borough. So I get the phone calls about the garbage collection, when's Halloween, all the questions that come up with residents. So I could just say, well, call somebody else, but I do the best I can to answer their questions. And if I can't answer it right on the spot, I can get the information for them. One of the things that I can't say I'm totally responsible for anything that happened in the borough, but I really have been pushing all along as my mayor, as our communication with residents. We have a fantastic newsletter that we put out all the time. We now have Savvy Citizen in the borough. We have a Facebook page. So in my mind, it's an important part of how we run the borough, is communicating with our residents. I encourage people to attend meetings. We have recreational things that we run throughout the year through the rec department. Encourage people to come to that, get to know who our council members are, just to have a sense of, you're part of this community by being involved. And that's what I've done over the years. Like I said, again, I'm pretty much in tune with day-to-day projects in the borough, things that need to be done now, things that need to be looked at in the future. And Matt could tell you, I always talk to him. I just pointed out something the other day that, we need to look at. And so, again, very open up to what I'm saying. Not like, well, you're not on the council, we don't hear it. I just, and I work well with council. Our total council, everyone on there, it's not like there's bickering and fighting among everybody. It's a smooth operating machine. They get in there, do the job. They know it needs to be done, and they take care of it. So I won't probably use all my 5 minutes.
You have. I was just getting ready to interrupt you. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, Paul. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Up next, we've got Matthew Castilla.
Perfect. Well, I was going to ask for Paul's extra time, so it is what it is.
Well, you know me,
No,
Matt.
we're truly blessed. Churchill's just a fantastic community. Before I kind of get into talking about myself, I will just say, I see the mayor out there all the time working, so he's got my full endorsement, and just as far as a dedicated public servant, I don't know I've met anyone else in my 38 years that's quite as dedicated as Paul is. Um, I will also, just to reiterate and say thank you to CC Milner Library for putting this together and the opportunity to, just engage with folks in another medium. I know we work tirelessly in Churchill to communicate with residents, do our meetings and have online options as well to really just make sure that people can be involved. But this is another great opportunity, and I'll say a funny plug or a funny story. I started a book club not maybe a year and a half ago now. I was inspired by one of my professors who is 94 95 years old now, from college. He's retired and lives at home and isn't as mobile, but he still writes a weekly newsletter, and I get it. And one of the things is he talks about his book club. And I thought, I don't read enough and I'd like to read more. I used to do it, a lot more for pleasure, and I should start doing this. So, a couple of friends and I got together. We've been plowing through some different books. And at one point I was like, oh, I don't think I'm going to like this book. Like, no, I got to spend money on a book I don't like. And I was like, wait, there's these things called libraries. So I went and got a library card, and I, have a book from CC Milner Library in my house right now. And I'm glad I'm reading it for book club, but I don't think I'm going to keep it. So that's fantastic service. And just to plug our library and the services they're providing. Um, yeah, so I moved to Churchill in 2017. And a little bit back about myself. I've felt called to public service since a young age. It's what inspired me when I was collecting food for canned food drives as a Cub Scout. When I did my Eagle Scout project as a Boy Scout, raising funds and installing a playground at a state park. And ultimately was just raised in a family. My mom was a Cub Scout leader. My dad was doing stuff with Habitat with Humanity and our sports leagues. We just kind of grew up like it was expected. You help people, right? You go out, you help where it's needed, and you extend grace. So I've been a Pittsburgh convert, I'll call myself, since 2005. when I attended University of Pittsburgh's engineering school, and a resident of Churchill since 2017, like I already said. I reside here with my wife and my three step kids who are 13, 14, and 17, and are passionate about theater. So they've been involved in a lot of different theater projects and productions, and they keep us jumping, which is a blessing. Um, let's see. I am currently chair of the Public Safety Committee and serve on two others, Management and Government and Infrastructure. As Public Safety Chair, I've worked with our staff and our chief to proactively plan and recruit new officers so we don't have gaps in our protection or overburden on our dedicated officers. So that's, one thing as people plan for retirement or maybe decide to move to different communities, right? Staffing will come up and getting ahead of that and moving quickly through that process. Otherwise, it can take 6, 8 months or longer, and now you have a police, force that's distressed. Outside of council, I work on the media team for my church, McKeesport Alliance Church. I'm treasurer of the ASCE Pittsburgh Scholarship Foundation, where we give out anywhere between $15,000 to $20,000 for engineering students in the greater Pittsburgh area every year. And I mentor small business owners through CBMC Pittsburgh chapter. Since first being appointed to Churchill Council in 2020, I've only missed 7 out of our regular scheduled workshop and council meetings. I believe that to serve well, you have to be present and commit to doing the work, not just talking without action. Um, Further, since council functions as a team, I believe in the importance of working collaboratively towards goals and building support among my peers, even when there are disagreements. I've committed to hosting regular open office hours, so that's something that I started a year and a half ago now, and it's just an opportunity where once a month I'll find time to go up to the borough and kind of put that out, ahead of schedule. It's in our newsletter, and just hang out so that people can drop in at their convenience if they have questions, issues, things they just want to get in front of council, and other folks have joined me since doing that. So I believe that every resident of, Churchill and our local municipality has a voice. Every voice deserves to be heard. And I'm committed to being accessible to our community and continuing my dedicated service if reelected.
Thank you so much, Matt. I appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Next up, we have Darnica Reed, who is running for the Woodland Hills School District Board.
Hello, and thank you for having me today. So I am running for re-election Region 1, that is comprised of Churchill, Wilkins Township, Turtle Creek, and Chalfont. In my 4 years serving on school board, it's been, I would say it's been great. It has its challenges, but I'm happy to be there. I'm glad that I can be a voice for my constituents. One thing that people know who do pay attention to school board, they know that I'm definitely fighting for them. If they have an issue, I will certainly work to resolve it for them. So even if we across party lines or whatever, we understand that we're not going to agree on everything, but I'm still going to hear them out and do what I can to make sure that this is the school district that they deserve, and one that is serving them well. So currently, as far as work, I'm acting as the executive director of the Mayor's Charitable Fund, which is a nonprofit organization that was created to support mayors and their initiatives in their communities. I also work with children in residential facilities for Family Links. So I also support children with special needs, and that's a lot of what my background is. My career has mostly been working with children with disabilities, especially autism. I've also worked as a political consultant. So I've worked on school board races, many Woodland Hills school board races, but also state representative races, and even a county district attorney's race. And outside of that, I'm a member of the Churchill Wilkins Rotary. I'm the chair of the Social Justice Committee of the Rankin-Mon Valley section of the National Council of Negro Women. And I would like to say one of my favorite things about the school district is, as far as in the schools, it's Mr. McGuire's class. He has a series where he'll have authors come out and speak with the students, and that I like it a lot, and I like that he also creates a safe space for the students. So, for instance, like my daughter, when she first started school at the high school, that is one of the places that like in between classes, she was able to sit and like help out in the library. So that was a really a nice experience for our family, and I'm glad that she got a chance to take part in that. It made a great transition for her in the school, but that's just to show that we do have spaces like that for students when they do come to our school district. Also, since on the school board, one of my priorities are transparency. We need to always be transparent when it comes to district operations and the way that we spend your tax dollars. As far as special education, I'm passionate about that, and ensuring that parents understand the IEP process. A lot, I've been a parent, and this is one of the reasons that I decided to run for school board. I understand that a lot of parents don't understand the process, but that can also cause issues when it comes to a school district. If parents don't understand something, they may try to go elsewhere if they feel like a district isn't serving them. So I want to make sure that our children feel supported and our parents understand the process so that we can properly support their children. Also, increasing revenue for our district, I feel as if we should focus on applying for grant funding and finding sponsors and things of that nature, so that we are not just paying for everything, programs and things like that. We should be able to find other sources of funding so that we're not just spending your tax dollars constantly. We need to be creative when it comes to generating revenue for things that we would like to do. And moving forward, that is pretty much what I would like to focus on. I would like for us to increase transparency and customer service. Like we want to make sure that our parents, they feel like they're heard when we do when we're making decisions for them. And one thing that I am proud of outside of what I've already mentioned, prior to joining the board, I learned that our students some people may not know that in special education, if a child has an IEP, they can actually they can attend school until they're 21. And so one of the things I found out is that when that child when they would walk across the stage at like 18, they still had a few more years, but they weren't receiving a diploma like their peers. So I went to the school board and I told them about how in Pittsburgh Public Schools, they receive a certificate at graduation. So it's not their actual diploma, but it's at least something so that, they're not, just receiving a blank like folder. So that's one of the things that I had worked on, and they actually started to do that. So that's one of the things I'm also proud of. So I think I should be at my 5 minutes, but
you are. Thank you. Thank you very much, Darnica. I appreciate it. Carlton Scott, are you prepared?
Hello. I apologize for any background here. I'm at a work event, so I'm just stepping aside real quick. But my name is Carlton Scott. I am running for school board, representing Wilkins, Churchill, Turtle Creek, and Chalfont. Um, I to start, I'm a 94 Woodland Hills grad. I love Woodland Hills. I've lived in the district for 40 years. So I have a lot of pride in our community, a lot of perspective in terms of history and how what we've been able to accomplish as a district itself. And when I was on the board previously, I felt I did a lot to try um, to bring Woodland Hills back to our roots and success. And I think I had a lot of success in the 2 years that I was on the board and served as a board president. Um, a little bit about me: I am a for the past 25 years, I've worked at the University of Pittsburgh in the advising realm. I was an academic advisor in the Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences for approximately 10 years. And then I was an advisor in the College of Business Administration for another 12 years. And then for the past couple of years, I've been a associate director of advising for the Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences. So I've worked with students for that long, and that brings a perspective for me as far as why I really wanted to run because I see um, what happens to students once they seek the next level, right? No matter what it is, I look for schools to be able to prepare our students for what their future brings. So that's something that I brought with me to the board the first time, and it's something that I really want to work to continue to innovate on that front and make sure that Woodland Hills students have all the opportunities that any other students have in the Pittsburgh community. One of the biggest things that was important for me was what the school board, what the role of the school board is. Um, we we should be working collaboratively, regardless of what our political affiliations are. We have to come together as a group of elected officials, to make sure that we are supporting the administration, the teachers, everyone down to the students. And we can do that if we are strong leaders. We have to be able to collaborate with those that we may have disagreements with. We have to be able to have empathy for people and understand where they're coming from and their ideas, and not um, internalize some of the things that we may get regarding feedback and things along those lines. So it's important to have somebody who is able to kind of take in that information and still be able to lead effectively with that. And I think that that's a characteristic that I brought to the board. Um, One of the biggest things that I would say um, for public education in general, and something that board members of a variety of different backgrounds can bring is help in the innovation front. Often our administrators, our teachers, they're inundated on the day to day, and so it's very difficult for them to innovate while also trying to do their jobs effectively. And I think the school board can really help with um, uh, challenging our administrators to think innovatively, right? To come up with approaches to really reach out to our faculty and work with them to come up with unique approaches to educating our students. And that comes with setting particular goals, understanding who our students are on all levels. So I think that that's something that I also kind of encourage our administration to do. And I think we innovated significantly in the time I was on the board. Um, the other thing that I am engaged in is so for at
Excuse me,
least,
Carlton. I'm just going to
yes.
say you've gone over your 5 minutes. If you could wrap it up in the
Oh,
next minute
oh,
or
I'm
so,
sorry.
if
Oh,
that's
okay, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I thought I'd run out. Oh, yeah. So I just wanted to say that like there's a lot of other things that I'm involved in. I'm the executive director of a private operating foundation. We deal with issues of race and politics and things along those lines. So I bring a variety of experiences with me, and I hope I get the chance to talk to everybody in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Um, so if anybody has any questions for the candidates, up until this point, we have seen no questions come across the chat. I'm going to give it maybe another 3 seconds. Make sure nobody has any last minute questions that they would like to submit. And seeing none, we are going to wrap up our evening. We did record this and we will be posting it to our website at CC Miller Library. I will reach out to all of the candidates that participated this evening with a link when the recording is live and available so that you can share in your circles or as you would like to share. And it might take us a day or two to get that up, but we will do that. Yes, Matt.
Sorry, trouble with the mute button. Can I just give a quick two things just for Churchill in case there's any residents that watch? So Thursday night there is a white-tailed deer meeting. If you're interested in kind of how to live with white-tailed deer and planting and everything else, that's up at the Borough Building. I believe it's at 6 p.m. It's on the Borough website and Facebook. And then for Halloween, we'll be on the 31st, 6 to 8 p.m. in Churchill. So again, just in case folks, this is another medium just to make sure folks are aware.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all very much for being here tonight. I appreciate you. Good luck in your candidacy.